this thing all over again. We'll get back to that other part, but something else has to be explained first. And so this is what we're going to do. I think of good old Maybrook whenever I drink a cup of coffee sitting with you guys. Let's go. Okay. You doing okay, Shai?
Thank God, Rabbi, doing well.
Oh, that's good. And Chesky, smile. Come on, it's Yom Tov. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's roll. Okay, let's go back to that Rambam. On the sheets I sent you, I'm going to go back to that Rambam that we started with yesterday. I want to analyze it a bit better. And in light of that, try to understand where this is all going to. And that is as follows. Again, Rambam, the first sheet I sent you is Perik Chesed Chametz Matzah Halacha Yud. And there it says, excuse me, just 1 minute. Okay.
Sunday.
Well, thank you. V'yesh lo ligmor es hallel b'chol makom sheyutzeh, af al pi she'enoi mekayim suda. You can finish the hallel wherever you want, although it is not the place of the su'uda. The obvious question was, well, what exactly is the chiddush? What does makom suda have to do with hallel? And that's a serious question. Now, let's understand this carefully. So, l'chara, one would logically say that, as we have learned in previous shiurim in the Sugya of Aseba, based on Taisfus in Daf Kuf Ches, which should be your second sheet, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, based on Taisfus Daf Kuf Ches Amid Aleph. But there we pointed out that the din of Aseba is by matzah. Definitely agreed that you do Haseba on matzah, but as far as our Bekaisis is concerned, we have two versions, either the first 2 cups or the last 2 cups, and because we're not sure which is, we do them all. The reason that there's an opinion that we don't do Haseba on the second 2 cups, only on the first 2 cups, the cups in which we said the Kiddush and the Haggadah, as opposed to the cups of the Birchas Hamazon and the Hallel, is because we express our appreciation of freedom when we're in the feeling freedom at its peak, which seems to be during the transition from slavery to freedom. But when we are already comfortable with our freedom, we already take it for granted. Like you people take democracy for granted. You take human rights for granted. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you guys are going to be in shock when Mashiach comes. No more elections. It's going to be a monarchy. I mean, get rid of it. He may be a stupid son, but he's going to be your king. Get used to it. Like Shlomo Melech had Rechavam. He was a loser, but we got stuck with him. You know what I mean? You can't vote him out. So this is the same thing here. We can take things for granted, but that's not the way it is. Since we're already used to the freedom, so to speak, therefore there's no reason to express your joy over the freedom by reclining. This is the Gemara. Taisus asked the question, if you recall. I'll just read the Taisus again. Because you already said the bracha of Gal Yisrael prior to the Suda. We finished the Agada. Then he asked the question, although it stands true, the matzah tzrich haseba, that matzah does need haseba. And we don't say, well, it's already past the Agada. We already after the transition. Hey, it's old news. So why would we think that matzah should have to have a seba? If you think that the third cup doesn't need a seba because it's old news, the eating of matzah is already after you finish the Haggadah. So he said, "Shani matzah shu ikar suuda yoser miyayin." What does that mean? As we explained, we saw from Taisfus that the din of a seba is halacha in the character of the suuda. We will not elaborate on that. And since that which defines the suuda most is the bread aspect of the suuda, the pastas, the kaveh of the suuda, the makam of the suuda, all the wine also defines a suuda, as we discussed. Name of the round in Megillah that yayin is kaveh, the oif of a suuda, to make it into a mishnah. But it is not as predominant as the bread. He says all the yayin is also a ikr of the Suda, but not as strong, not as dominant as the ikr of the Suda as presented in the bread. This is what it says. The yayin matzah is ikr Suda yoisemi yayin. It doesn't say that yayin is not part of the ikr Suda, but it's not as strong as matzah, and therefore one would have thought that, in this, when it comes to the yet we convey the Suda there, doesn't matter, my hava. You've got to do a seba. Mashenkin, will come to yayin, since you don't need it anymore for the ikr hasuda, the suda is already nikva. Therefore, maybe you don't need a seba. This is the taisvus. What do we see from taisvus? That the suda is defined by the bread, and that's the din of a seba. The matzah is conveyed the suda. Now we go to the Gemara and Daf Lamed Vav in Safin, which is your third sheet. Where there the Gemara says, we discussed this once, what does lechem oini mean? The Gemara says, does lechem oini, what about meiser sheni? Can you be yotzim lechem matzah with meiser sheni? Meiser sheni b'Yerushalayim is mutter b'achila. Adrab, it's a mitzvah of achila b'Yerushalayim meiser sheni. What's the din? Are you yotzim? The Gemara says, no, it says lechem oini. Masher nechel ba'anius, lechem of affliction, something which is eaten in affliction, but ma'aser sheni can never be eaten by aninus. You can't eat it when you're in oinon. You're only supposed to eat it in a sense of happiness, and therefore, obviously, this cannot be matzah, because matzah has to be something which can be eaten in affliction. As I discussed already in the past, Shittas Rabbeinu Tam, that the getter of achilas matzah is achilas anius. It's an eating of poverty. And that's why it's mutter min admai. If you recall, we learned that in the Taisvus, actually lamed hey amid base. Okay, the Gemara continues and says, Rabbi Yosef Glili and Rabbi Akiva Omer mitzvahs matzahs ribe matam leim lechem oini. We learned it from another pasuk. So what do we need the lechem oini for? Pratli isa shenilai shebiyayin b'shemen udvash matzah shira is no good. It's got to be yotz the mitzvah with matzah shira. My time with Rabbi Akiva. Kiksiv lechem oini. It doesn't say lechem oini with a vav. Oniksiv, a poor man. Poor man does not mean to say an afflicted person. Aninus is not the criteria. The criterion is poverty. It's lechem anius, not lechem of affliction. It's written there without a vav. It's read with a vav, but it's written without a vav. This goes into the bigger problem of yeshem the mikra, yeshem the Messiah. We don't read it ani, we read it aini. Rabbi Akiva hide karin and aini. The text is something else. The mikra is ani, and that's what it means. So then of ani, and that's b'mayit l'mashal l'matzah shira. But that pasuk alone would not be b'mayit anius. There is a kri of aini. Now that goes into another question. There's the kri. What kind of getter does it have? Is it shot? Can it be rem? Is it the trush? It can be multiple things. We're not looking at the ksiv. We're looking at the kri. Okay, so I say this because this lav dafka, it can be an agdor, but it could be a rem. It could be multiple things. Okay, so what do we say? Lechem she'oki de shmuel. The Amar Shmuel lechem oini lechem she'oinim olav dvar maharbe. This is a lechem which we talk about it a lot. Now let's try to understand what does that mean. So Rashi says lechem she'oinim olav dvar maharbe. Rashi, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th line after it thinned out on the top. She'oinim olav dvarim she'goimrim olav es ha'hala. We finished the hallel. Equals both the first part of the hallel and the second part of the hallel, because the first part is not a gemara hallel. That would be called likresh es hallel. When you say goimrim, that means you finish the whole hallel. So goimrim olav es hallel means sai hallel kamais and sai hallel basraisa, and they're called olav on what? On the lechem. An interesting concept here. And also the haggadah. Oimrim olav ha'aggadah. Once again, we say the haggadah on the matzah. Although we didn't eat the matzah yet, we eat the matzah afterwards. It's called, we say haggadah on the matzah, and we finish the hallel. Goyrus hallel, underlying specifically the last part of the hallel, is also coming on the matzah. Interesting. We invented the matzah. What happened is we said we did the haggadah pre-matzah, we did the hallel post matzah, and they're both on the matzah. Okay, this is obviously the agdor of the lechem. Lechem sho'inim olav. We begin with aniyah, we end with aniyah, and in the middle there's the matzah. That is the catalyst. This is what we see from the Gemara. Well, now then we understand. If you understand that the Hallel of the if this now this is this a din or is this a drash? Obviously, we don't need a pasuk to tell me that we say God. That we know when we got the labin. We don't need a pasuk to say a din of Hallel. First of all, it's a din drabban, for goodness sakes. The Hallel is a din drabban. At the best, it's going to be l'chara a kiyum. It's mischayiv anyway, as the Rambam writes in Sefer Mitzvahs. We didn't be guided to that will include also l'shabach l'kadosh baruch hu. That's at the best. The ma'ases, it could be a kiyum deraisa, it's a kiyum rabban. Okay, pashtus. Okay, the Hallel that we know, which is the eraisa, is only according to the Ramban Hallel al hakorban. We don't know more than that. Even the different Hallel al hanes, one would say there's no real mucker that there's a din eraisa of Hallel at all. The mucker would be the best you can give is the rayas Meshiras Hayam, which obviously wasn't a mitzvah. There was no tzuri there at the time. So to say that the mucker of the Shabbat Halanes is a chiyuv deraisa because Shiras Hayam would be ludicrous. Because that shira was not with a Hallel at all. At the most you see from there, there's a major value to say Hallel. That's true. There's a major value to say Hallel. That's why it's recorded in the Mikra. But to say from that pasuk Yitzivui and the Chiv Hallel, it's a chnarishkeit. So that no one should be saying that. Also, it's written it should not be said. Okay, so l'chayra, this is a topic for itself. A mitzvah before Yom Ha'atzmaut, we'll talk about it. Okay. Going further, I repeat, it's a major value. I have said many times, for me, major values are more obligatory than commandments. I mean, I mentioned that multiple times. Values mean to say God expects you to do it naturally, not because you have to. That's a major idea. Like I mentioned, I mean, the example I always give, imagine you going to your wife saying, this is a Rambam that says I have to love you. Yeah, you'll get whacked with a broom. You understand? There ain't no way. You know, this should be normal and natural. So the same thing will apply for Hallel al Hanes in Yom Ha'atzmaut, and that will also apply also Yusha Mitzvah Yisrael, etc., and multiple and Priyas B'Chayv Mitzvah and Mitzvah the kind of Ramesh, etc., etc., etc. Okay, just want to clarify that people should not misconstrue what I'm saying here. Okay, I'm always frightened. This issue is touchy, and people somehow have their antennas raised. So I'd like to clarify what I mean. For me, the idea that it's not an imperative, but it's a value. Values and biblical values are heavily imperative. Ad kedei כך the Bnei Noach got killed for them, as we discussed once in this year. Okay, let's go further. Okay, so what do I know? So what's this pasuk for? What's the idea of lechem sha'onim olav arba? It's definitely not the source of the Hallel. It's definitely not the source of the Haggadah. What is it? So the best it is defining what the Haggadah, how we define the matzah. It's either saying that the matzah is a catalyst for it, or it's defining the matzah. This is where it should, the tzura should be Hallel and Haggadah on matzah. So it's either defining the tzura sadvarim, how it's supposed to look. This is the tzura of the din. It could, hypothetically, it's going to be hard to believe that the Mechayiv of Yigat Labincha is the matzah, for goodness sakes. That's childish. Then what happens if you don't have matzah? You can't be Mechayiv Yigat Labincha. Like, no one would dream of such a preposterous idea. I don't think I have to prove why it's wrong. So obviously, we're talking about a tzura. That's the form how we're supposed to do it. It's supposed to be Hallel and Haggadah on matzah. If you really want to know, the gears of the Mechilta, when it says so the gears of the Mechilta and bought also in Shulchan Aruch Harav is Munachim lefanecha al shulchanecha. That the tzura is that you should have it on the table, not just a din of zman. It's also an idea of tzura. That's in this in gears found in the Mechilta, and the Rav in Shulchan Aruch brings it, so that is normative. Okay. That should be very clear. So now that we know that, we realize that the tzura of the Hallel is a tzura of what? With the matzah. Now, with the matzah, as we know from Rashi, Gairim as a Hallel means also the end. Although you finished the matzah already, you said the Birchas Hamazon, it's still called Al HaMatzah, which the Chai would mean what? Once we understand the getter of matzah, because defined as Ikra Suda, it means to say, just like there's a din of Yayin Lifnei Suda, this is found. The Hallel comes in the what's mitzarvit to the matzah. The teretz is makom suda, and that the chiddush of the Rambam. We would have thought there's a lot of makom suda. Why? Because the get of matzah is the kaver the suda, and therefore, since we need lechem oini she'oinim all of Hallel and Haggadah according to Rashi, and I think this is obviously the chiddush that the Rambam is out to say. We would have thought you needed Malkim Suda because you need a tziruf of the Hallel to the Suda, which is what at least the Chatchila and the Surah that we learned from Lechem Oini. Obviously, it's not Ma'akif, but there is L'chayr such a Surah. That's all we understand. And the Kemashmon, that's not true. He doesn't agree with this. Could be multiple reasons why he doesn't agree with it. We'll have to. You can't really prove it, but the whole idea that based on is an understanding of Shmuel, and so to speak, he maybe hold that Shmuel is very nice, but it could be it's a not davke agdor la'alocha. It could be that doesn't think Dvarim Harbe has to be Goymer Sahalo. Maybe it only means Halu Kamaisa. The only Raya Mukrachas I had was Shitas Rashi. Used the lotion of Goymer Sahalo. Maybe it means Halo and Haidor. Halo means the Halu Kamaisa, the first Halo, not the second Halo. There's multiple possibilities of how you could basically walk out of this, but this is obviously at least a decent Havamina that the Rambam entertained, that the Halo is part of the Tzur Sasuda, or rather is that the Tzur, the Halo, it comes together and combined to the Suda, and the Chiddush is that the Halo is not Mechayiv that. The Chiddush is the Halo is not Mechayiv that. So the Allah, you don't need Malkim Suda, and as far as now, there's another Shaila. I don't understand. There's definitely a halacha that you need Hala al Kais Revi. Where do we know that from? That we saw the Gemara. This goes to literally, I think, one of the last pages I sent you today. Yes, one of the last pages to be exact. It is 1, 2, 3, 4th side for the end. Kuf Yud Dayin Amid Beis. There we had the Gemara, the Mishnah, we learned Mazgulei Kai Shlishi before Alav Mizaynai. Revi Gamra Olav Esahal. The Amar Olav Birchas Ashir. Amar Le Rav Chanan Le Rav Shmami Ne Birchas Amazon Tuna Kais. It's a very pelodic Rav Chanan, and Mutashim I will deal with it. What exactly happened here? For granted that the idea that you say Haggadah on the Kais, that's not a problem because Haggadah is tuna kos. It's not true. We don't think Haggadah is tuna kos. Hallel, we say Hallel. You said Hallel today. Did you have a cup of wine with you in shul? I mean, not in shul, wherever you were. Okay? No, you didn't have a cup of wine. No, maybe you did. I don't know. Normal people don't. Okay? We don't. You see, why not break out the bottle of wine together with the Hallel? It sounds good. Okay? But this is nicht the din. We don't do that. Afal Piken, you didn't have a question about the Haggadah, and he didn't have a question about Hallel. He only asked me a question about Birchas Hamazon. And as he understood clearly that there's no problem, he understands the three cups. The takana was to have a getter of Shira Alayai. It's a din of Shira Alayai. This we know there's a certain takana. We understand they decided that we understand Chazal and Masak and Shira Alayai. And since we understand the Haggadah is a getter of Derech Shira, Kimavur B'Rishonim, you're supposed to say it B'Kol Roim Derech Shira. Well, you must know that. That's why we say it B'Kol Roim Derech Shira. You're supposed to sing-song it. Okay, I'm sure every family has its niggin or nusach or how to sing it loud and clear. That's the halacha. Supposed to sing it. Hallel is definitely a getter of. She has a dimension of Shira to it. Kimavur B'Masech D'Seifrim that you make a bracha v'tzarach l'kroisa b'ne'ima. That's actually found in Perek Chaf Masech D'Seifrim that Hallel should not be read like rattling it up. It should be read with a tune, b'ne'ima. Okay, it's got in ne'imos. Okay, it doesn't mean pleasant. It doesn't mean b'ne'imut. B'ne'ima means with a niggin. Okay, that's why we see, some people. You should be saying the whole Hallel with a niggin. Some Balei Tefillah don't know it. What can I do? So I'm a first Masech D'Seifrim. Even that Tzad himself the seven that the bracha has to be said b'ne'ima. Then I see most people are Makai. Okay, the bracha. Because the bracha is not just a birchas mitzvah; it's a bracha part of the guf chefetz of the Hallel. That's my first in Sefer Eshkol. Sefer Eshkol says that the din is to say Hallel b'tzibur. What happens if you're going in your shul and you're saying Psukkah de Zimra and the mean starts saying Hallel? You're supposed to stop Psukkah de Zimra. You're supposed to say Hallel. Sefer Eshkol that the first bracha you're yotzer with Baruch Shomar. And the last bracha, you're yotze with Yishtabach. Now, if the first bracha of Hallel is a birchas mitzvah, what does Baruch She'omer have to do with Ashek Yishon Tzvayis B'Shvon Ligmar Sahalo or Likrei Sahalo? There's no birchas mitzvah there. The teretz is Hallel is doing a bracha, not because of birchas mitzvah. The bracha is inherently part of the goof essence of the Hallel, without going into the depths of it. But that's a davar pashut. Otherwise, how could you possibly? It's Meister among Avram brings it la love. It's a Sefer Eshkol. Sefer Eshkol is the Ravid Harishon, not the Ravid Balasagas. We're talking about the first Ravid. There were three Ravids. This is the older one. Okay, yeah. One day I should do a history class in a development of halacha through who's who and what. That would be a great thing. You're missing it because you don't have it to your fingers. Anyway, so that's that we know that there's halacha. What is this halacha? That the bracha has also been ne'ima. That's the pashas the Mizrach Sefer. We do it all b'ne'ima. It's one big sing song. That's what Hallel is supposed to be. So we understand. They get a shira, and this is the klal. And every kosher bracha, that's the halacha. The Alter Rebbe writes it down based on a Maritz Geius. The Alter Rebbe, I think it's in Hilchos Birchas Hamazon, where he discusses Baruch Hava that the get of kosher bracha is shira alayayin. As I mentioned it yesterday, that one of the reasons that you have to drink a kosher bracha because it has to be like a shtiyas hamizbeach, just like you pour it in the sachem on the mizbeach. You got to pour it down your throat. Okay, that's called shtiyas hamizbeach. It's a beautiful thing that kosher bracha means you are now a mizbeach. And now we're pouring it on the mizbeach equals down your throat. Just to think of it is quite awesome. But what's the difference? People don't think that you missed the whole part of Judaism. Anyway, this is the gather of shtiyas hamizbeach, and that's kosher bracha. So that he had no problems with. He understood a concept of takonas shira al but birchas hamazon. That's good as the shilas. Birchas hamazon just they didn't adore. Does it also have a shem shira? And the Gemara in Barachas is mistapik in that. And the Gemara brings a diuk from certain places that we say, yes, the birchas hamazon alayayin, because birchas hamazon is not just the din of amira and kriya. That depends on the tajbits. And not amira or kriya, it's a halach of shira. And since therefore it has to shira alayayin. Okay, this is these are all dvorim for Russian mavur. Anyway, may say din of shira alayayin. The Chayr says it's for Mishnah. The Mishnah says you do birchas hamazon. So we see l'chayr it's a din of kosher bracha. It's a halach of shira alayayin. That's what he says. So he says no. Rava says no. That's not true. Rava says that's not the gather of the halacha. No, the reason is not because the machayv arba kaisis is not the shira that you're making, or maybe there's a machayv arba kaisis. No, the machayv arba kaisis is separate. It's a loch of derech cherus. You've got that. It doesn't mean you sit in a bar and drink wine. Derech cherus means a sudas cherus has wine in it. Please. As I taught you multiple times, the Russian brachas that says "Ein simcha ela b'basar v'yayin." So the Rash, yeah, but it has to be with pas. To walk around eating meat and drink without a suda, this is a bar of moritz. Listen, okay, it has to be in the tzur of a suda. I really mean it. You got to learn like the primary sources not to do stupid things because you see so many things happening. You have to be. Tonish aiken moritz. A kid said, "They didn't tzur a suda." That's a davar pashut. So in Mela, he says, no, it's not that the halacha is that there's a I'm drinking wine. Derech cherus means in the tzur of the suda. Okay, kol chad v'chad never mitzvah and everyone. That's the machayev. The machayev is not the shira. We decided no to do shira. Okay, but the machayev is not the mitzvah. The machayev is the derech cherus, and the takana added do this derech cherus and the tzur of kosher bracha. That's the chayra of the pshat. So the chayra, according to that, if it is a din at the end of the day, so there's two things happening. There's a machayev arba kaisis because the suda has to have suda cherus, and just like there's a suda cherus needs a seba. A sudas cherus needs arba kaisis. That's what it's got to be. Not just it's got to be a mishta, not just a suda. It has to be a sudas mishta, and the concept of sudas mishta is 4 cups. Why different? Found different drushes all over the different makayros. You can once again to make halachic nafkaminas from these asmachtas would be pathetic. Because neither the Bavli or the Midrashim make this, so the usage of these asmachtas to create halachic nafkaminas, as seen in certain literature, is midaftish kibir satire on them. It's a waste of time. But l'maisa, but we know it's a takanas chazal. What they get is derech cherus. So the chayr, but l'chayr the agdor is now you need a kosher bracha. So if it's a kasha bracha, here the question stands, the chayra, according to the Rambam, how is it possible that they said halal somewhere else? What about it has to be halal lakaish? L'chayra, it has to be halal lakaish. What's the halacha? So what are you going to say? So the pashas, what did it happen? Did the Rambam believe that the fourth cup you did taka out there? Is that together of the halacha? L'chayra, that's how the Ravid understood the Rambam. That you took the fourth cup and you drank it over there. Now the pal is obviously you did more kind of source of suda. It has to be derech cheres in the suda. What's mitzaref then? Are you going to ask the kasha, the kaishes l'chara after the birch samazim? But so what? The makim suda is mitzarefum. That's the gather of derech cheres. The suda is mitzarefum with the wine, the yain lifnei suda yain achar suda yain derech suda. But l'chayr, if there's no makom suda, so what's the pshat in this Rambam? That's the shaila of the Ravid. So when the Ravid asked the question, what's he asking? The Ravid is asking, go back to the lashon of the Ravid. Ravid says, "Ein adas mikabelas king lefisha ein tan shem la'arba kaisim ein b'malkim echad." What's he asking? He's asking, it's very nice that you're mekayim kaishu bracha if you drink that cup somewhere else. But the takana was arba kaises. What's he referring to? The lashon of Rava, arba kasa tiknu lercherus, and that won't work without makom suda to put them together. Shame la arba kaises ain't b'makom zeh. We need arba kaises, which means to say it's part of the suda. It needs something putting it together. It's not suda gufa. It's makom suda, which is the same thing. That the question of the Ravid is a strong question. What are you, Elamai? What are we going to say that according to the Rambam? You came back later, and then you said it afterwards. You made the bracha again later. That also is a tzorachin. Is that what happened? It could be. The Rambam Shita, the afterwards you came back and you made the bracha, fresh to the kasha, but that's not a kasha bracha anymore. That's not called shira alayai. If you made the shira up somewhere on the rooftop, what did you do when you came down? That's the question on hand. Okay, so now let's understand the Ravid's asag. It becomes very clear. It's not like an HPTC. Yesterday I wondered what's the hechrich of the Ravid. The Ravid is echel apash. There's a din mechayiv of arba kosa derech cheres, which is obviously in Tzursa Suda Kimavur. I repeat again in the lashon of the Taisun of Kuf Ches, which said it's not ikra Suda Kimaya Matzah, but it's also part of ikra Suda. That was the lashon of that Bali HaTaisus. They didn't come from nowhere. Where did they get this idea? Because they understood two things. First, it's halacha. We take it min hatamchui. And if you take it min hatamchui, that means it's part of the tzur suda. Otherwise, you don't take min hatamchui for mitzvahs. The fact that we took it from the took it from the food basket, money from the food basket, we took it al koch. It's halacha. That's the halacha. We give sudas. We give X amount of sudas daily. There's kupa and there's tamchui. Whether we do the daily division of food basket or the weekly, this is already two different types of kupas, kupa and tamchui. If you start halacha in the suda, it's just a halacha to drink. It's a mitzvah to drink derech cheres, so take it from somewhere else. At the most, there's a din of chizah al psachim for that. So those know who said the tzibur has to give you mitzvahs. Did the tzibur deal with make sure that you have tefillin, tzitzis, and mezuzah? No. Why would the tzibur want to give you from the kupas ha'eichel of tamchi? That's halacha and dafkin, not just giving stock and giving food. Okay, there's other kupas for helping people with I don't know with other things, but tamchi and kupa are halachas and food baskets. So what's it doing there? There it's I didn't know it's halacha in the suda. That's a bir sebekutcha. No, is a bazoi. I want to understand what exactly is the agdori here. What happened here? This is the shaila on the Rambam. What did he do? Did he say the Hallel up on the rooftop and afterwards and he drank the wine there? Very nice. So look, you're not yaitza. Which means within the context of the Suda or Malkum Suda. You went back and you did it. So look, if you left the Hallel up on the rooftop and you did your wine later, so there's no kiyum din of kasher bracha. It's not Hallel, it's not Shira ala yayin. What's the mitzvah between the Shira and the yayin, which is down there? These are the questions which the Ravid says, Eina davar miskabel. What's he saying? You're right. The Hallel itself would not demand Malkum Suda. I agree with you. Okay? Why? Because there's other ways of interpreting Shmuel and Daf Lamed Vav outside of the words of Rashi. Or Shaila, whether we even paskin that Davar, who says it's an Ikra Din, it may be nothing more than a Remes, and therefore who says it has a halachic meaning, or whatever it means. The shaila is, but once again, but what are you going to do with Surah Sasuda? That's the problem. We need Kaishal Bracha. That's how we understand. L'maisa.
Can we not say that the Rambam is saying on the that you say this V'yeshlo Yigmor Es Hallel or Kol Mokom is not talking about the Hallel HaGadol on the fifth cup?
No,
not stretching it.
You should read the whole halacha of Tes and Yud. You would see, if you would have read it, you would have said it's going on the last halacha. Bernie, read it.
I am reading it.
Oh, you didn't read it? Well, read the whole freaking thing.
I didn't read the whole freaking thing.
I didn't. Maybe get yourself glasses, or get you a new optic nerve, or get yourself a new brain, which will allow the optic nerve to understand. Read it, please. I love you very much. Don't waste.
I'll reread it again.
Read it. Good man. I like you. Right. Okay. Right. So the thing is, what happens over here? So the Maisa, there's more about this, and this is something to point out. I sent you a Masechta Sefer. That's your 1, 2, 3, 4th page. I sent you a Masechta Sefer, and just a Meir Malcolm, you should know that the Taisus writes in Psachim, Daf Mem, that Masechta Sefer, Psikta, Masechta Smachos, he calls them Svarim Chitzonim. Look it up. It's interesting. Okay, I just want you to know that. Okay, that's it. Taisus Daf Mem Psachim. It's a very different Maskal Avo. Worth reading to understand major nafkaminas. We're not going there, but once again, there's things people have to know. This is called, Yediot Psisiot. Okay, so Masechta Sefer writes as follows. You can Perik Chav Brisa Tes. The one who brings this originally is the Ber Agoyla in Orach Chaim. And this I'm taking away my Bekiyas by pointing out, I know this from the Shulchan Aruch. The Ber Agoyla in Orach Chaim, Sim Tov Pei Zayin Siv Dalit. And the Brisa goes like this. It starts by saying, I want to read it all. If you have it in front of you, this will be very good. This will be an answer, Lazar, to your Ha'ara yesterday. That's why I'm bringing it in. I'm going to skip a bit and get down 3 lines. With the Kreison b'ne'ima. That's the ne'ima that I pointed out. Okay? The Tanit, it says, it says, Reb Shimon ben Yitzadok. This is a quote, l'chayr of the Bryce upon an Erech and Daf Yud with a major difference. Yomim 18 ve'layla echad. You see that, Lazar? Yochid goyim b'emes ahala. You see the change in the nusach of Shimon Yitzadi between the Masechta Sefer and the Bavli. It's clear as day. They felt that I want you to understand Yomim means days versus nights. So he says Yomim 18 ve'layla echad goyim b'emes ahala ve'elu hein 18 Chanukah. Yom Tov Shel Atzeres, which is Shavuos, Yom Tov Shel Pesach, which is Pesach, V'leiloi, and it's night. U'bagoyla Esim Ve'echad Yom V'shtei Leilos. Something which I never saw done in Chutzos, I don't know. Which means to say, you say Hallel, Lamaisa, you'll see in the Shul, you say it both nights. Mitzvah min HaMuvchar, Likweis, Hallel, B'shnei Leilos, Shel Golios, Ulevorach Aleim, V'lo Imram b'ne'ima, L'kayim ma shenemar, U'neroimim shmo yachdav. U'kishu kaira oise bebeisai, ein tzorach levorech, shekvar birech berabim. So he writes before, so it's a mitzvah bin HaMuvchar to do it berabim. Look at the language till the end. Mitzvah and Amufra likas al b'shtei leila shel golios. Okay, obviously there's a word here which means berabim, the base Knesset. This is the way the Ran brings it down in Psachim. because or birabim, whatever the word is going to be, it must be added. You see from the context. That's why we do it in the shul. But if when you read it afterwards in your house, then you don't have to repeat the bracha again. Because you're ready with Mavoah Barabim. Is the version of the Seifrim, Kama V'Kama Nekudas. First of all, there's an idea of saying the Hallel Lechatchila in Shul Barabim, both nights of Pesach, okay, in Goliath. That's the Masechta Seifrim. And we make, there's a din of Ne'ima there. That means there's definitely a dimension of Shira in there. That's what we have to say it with the sing song, with the niggin, in both nights. Okay? Then it said, but that is not enough. When you come back home, you have to say the Hallel again. And what's that Mechayim? That's your question. If you're already Mekayim, the Hallel in the shul, and you made already the bracha, what's the siba of saying the Hallel again in the Agadah? The question which I have to deal with, because I say Hallel in shul, like the Minig Agra and Talmidei Agra, we say Hallel based on the Masechta Seifrim, okay? That this is mitzvah min ha-muvchar, we say Hallel with a bracha, okay? You'll know that many of the Minhagi Agra, what he did is he reinstituted the Minhagim found in Masechta Seifrim. Masechta Seifrim are the Minhagim of the post-Amoraic period. This is Beikim Minhagei Eretz Yisrael B'tkufas Ad Goinim. This is Masechta Seifrim. This was the Akros Lamaisa. Just want you to know if you want to date it. Okay, and the Gra, many of the Minhagim Gra, and the Kriyas of the Gra, the brachas on the Megillas, many things that other people don't do, they all come from Masechta Seifrim. You see, it's worth researching and looking it up. You'll get a little understanding of what these Minhagim are. So Lamaisa, what's it then? You're supposed to read it again. Now your question is, what's the Mechayev to read it again? What's the Mechayev to read it again? The Chiddush is you don't have to make a bracha. We would have thought you have to make a bracha. Interesting. Also on this Hallel, after you made the bracha there, the Kamashman, your Yoitza with the bracha as done in the shul. What does this mean? Well, if you say Mechayev of a Birchas HaMitzvahs, then more of the Kulama, you already did the Birchas HaMitzvahs. But they were kind of another mitzvah. You already chaysim that Hallel. You said Hallelujah. So what's is weiter the Hallel? Manavshem is an idea of a Birchas HaMitzvah. So what's it got to do with any? You made one Hallel, but then there's another Hallel. Are you going to say, no, this Hallel is just another reason it doesn't normally need a bracha? Well, if that's the case, why are you telling me you don't need a bracha? Because you did the bracha in shul. No, this is also Mechayev a bracha. But the Mechayev of that bracha is not a Birchas HaMitzvah. It's a bracha, which your Yaitse, as long as you predicated Hallel in the shul with the bracha, with a bracha, the first bracha, as we said, then you don't have to do it again. It's the minute what do? We do that. We say Birchas Hashir at the end, including everything. Lav, Dafka, Melch, Lulabat, Tishbachas. We say it at the end of Birchas Hashir. That's what we do. But we don't have a beginning bracha at all. Kimavur, look at your Agadas. Why? Because we're Yotzim, Beis HaKnesses. The Chmuchach Mikan, that the bracha in Beis HaKnesses is not a Birchas HaMitzvah, it's more the Kula Alma. Because what would that have to do with what's happening now? You made a big hefsek. If Ishlam would be we doing it together, so it would be called Seder Ayom. Seder Ayom, there's no hefsek and brachas. But God knows it may take half an hour to get home. That's definitely not Seder Ayom. And Afal Piken, you made the bracha. Where's the Overla Siyasan? The Chalkochach, it's not Birchas HaMitzvah. It's Muchach that the bracha of Hallel is not Dafka Midim Birchas HaMitzvah. The Hallel is Ton bracha. And that's why you can substitute it with Baruch Shama V'Haya Olam. There's a Chiddush here that all the, but on Hallel number 1, it continues for Hallel number 2, and this is interesting. That's something which has to be moved, but that's what's there. Okay? Just want to point that out. Yes.
Rabbi, why can't the Masechta Sofrim be telling you that exactly that point? That since it's the Birchas HaMitzvah, you don't have to repeat it. Why do you
have to say the Hallel at all? If this Hallel doesn't need a bracha, so don't say because you made a bracha, because this Hallel doesn't need a bracha. You said Hallel already. Not because you said the bracha in shul, because you said Hallel in shul. Shekvar birech berabim. It didn't say shekvar korah berabim. The chmuchach that this Hallel is your yaitzer. This Hallel should also have a bracha, but your yaitzer with the bracha you said before.
But if you didn't make a bracha, then you.
What are you doing? Can you please first read the text?
Yes.
What does the say? That the reason? What happens if you said Hallel and Shul and you didn't make a bracha? Then you will make the bracha at the Seder.
Right.
Right. But since you made, in other words, the Hallel and the Seder needs a bracha, even if you said Hallel and Shul already.
Right.
It's a separate mechayiv, correct?
Okay. Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. So then why is it that the Hallel that you said on the first mechayiv is moitzi the chayvus bracha on the second mechayiv?
Okay.
We good? Are we
Yes.
good? Good, thank God. Hallelujah. Okay. If that's the case, that what it's not a birchas mitzvahs, and that whatever the reason of that bracha is can cover also another Hallel. Question is, what is it? What's the agdora there? But this you see in this Masech Sefer. At the end of the day, what we see in the Masech Sefer, come in the kudos. First of all, this Masech Sefer is not like the Brayso and Erchin that I learned with you. The Gemara in Erchin, you have it in front of you, the next page, Daf Yud. There it says in the name of Reb Shimon Yotzadik something else. There it says, the Amr of Yechon, Reb Shimon Yotzadik, the last like 7 lines of Yud, Amid Aleph, and Erchin. Shmoyna Seyamim, Shayachid Gemrim Sahalo, Shmoyna Yemei Chanukah Chag, Shmoyna Yemei Chanukah, Yom Tov Rishon Shapesach, Yom Tov Rishon Atzeres, Goyle Esrim Echad, etc. And they don't mention the Laila. It's very clear. The Rambam Lamaisa, if you know in Hilchos Chanukah Paskins, this is the lashon of the Bavli. You can flip your page. In Perek Gimel Chanukah Halacha Vav, V'lo Hallel Shel Chanukah Bilvad Shu Medivrei Sefer, L'kriyas Hallel La'olam Medivrei Sefer B'chol Hayomim Shegoyim B'emes Ha'ala U'shmonos Yom B'shana Mitzvah Ligmer Et Ha'ala V'Elohein. He's quoting the lashon of the Brayso in Erchin, and definitely saying, and not like the Masech Sefer. So l'chayra, there's a shaila here between Masech Sefer and Bavli. What's the getter of the chiyuv of Hallel of Leil Pesach? The Bavli takes for granted that basically it's not a question of nusach. I don't believe that that's the shot. That says simply Masech Sefer and says the Bavli also means the Laila, but you know what? They decided basically to clarify that. It doesn't seem to be correct. Forget if we see there's a makom and yoim is not Laila in such a sefer, why would I think differently in the Bavli? Therefore, Mistaber, there's a machlokes in the Messiahs of Yishon B'Yotzadik. And the Rambam Patzins the Messiahs of the Bavli versus Masech Sefer because it's from Chitzonim, Kimavur B'Toysus, not Memem Psachim. It's not machriya against the Bavli. Okay, that's what we have here. So Kumtais that they believe that the Rambam believes that the Mechayev Hallel Leil Pesach is not Kedushas Hazman. It has to do with what? With obviously with, as we said yesterday, the Achila of the Korban, etc. As we mentioned yesterday. I hope you looked up the Ramban so you saw that Mefurish.
But when we the Taisvus in Psochim,
I didn't hear you.
The Taisvus in Psochim about Sforim Chitzonim says that we actually soimech on Sforim Chitzonim negative.
No, but not negative. Stimus Abavli.
He says the lashon over there negative Abavli, like some of the kriyas that we read, some of the Haftorahs are negative.
But that's something else because we're talking about minhagim. In minhagim, we have that before the end of Megillah. We're soimech on Masech Sefer, not on the minhag Abavli. Taisus already brings it down there. I know that. But that's that. But not Shat is here. There's Nafkamina Allah beikar adin. They were just minhagim. More to kula alma. The Masech Sefer is a kovetz of minhagim. Piska halachas of minhagim was managoinim. Let's put this on the table. And therefore, l'chayra is not going to be open machlokes of Bavli and ikar adin. What are you talking about? Not shy to that.
But he said that Lagabe loeg l'rash also.
Yoni, I love you. I suggest you listen carefully to what I said, and that will be the answer to your question. May I go further? Okay? Think about what I just told you and understand the difference between an argument, ikar adin, and we'll say right.
Loeg l'rash is an minhag, it's ikar adin. What you can do with Meisim and Kvas Kvolis. These are against Halacha.
We'll go further and we'll discuss this later, okay? Because I really want to finish something today. Okay, definitely the Rambam doesn't bring the Masechta Seifrim. He learns from Pascal the Brisa in the Chanukah like the Bavli. That's a davar pashut. Okay, therefore he doesn't hold this Masechta Seifrim. That's a davar pashut. He doesn't hold this Masechta Seifrim. What do we see, l'chayr, from here? So Masechta Seifrim, we definitely see number one that he believes that the Hallel of Leil Pesach is not Kedushas Hazman. The Nafkamina will be for Teisus Yom Tov. If it's a dim, it's like Kedushas Hazman. So hypothetically, you could say the Hallel could be said we didn't accept this Yom Tov. Lav Dafkim inside our matzah. All the matzah is only Mishecha Sheikha, but hypothetically, you could say the Hallel beforehand. The Meiri Taka brings a minhag like that, which we don't find anywhere else. In any of the Rishonim, the Meiri brings a minhag that the Hallel in Beis Knesset was done b'Boid Yom. That l'chayr could only be if you understand the Hallel is meaning Kedushas Hazman, and obviously the Tosefes Yom Tov. Otherwise, that would be a Pela Atzu. Okay, that's Mustam based on this Masechta Seifrim, which is Keneged Abab. There's another found here also in this Masechta Seifrim, which seems to be quite clear, and that the Masechta Seifrim takes for granted that after they went back and said the Hallel again, Al Kocha Muchan, the Masechta Seifrim, that's also part of the Tzuras HaSuda, and has to be said by Mekoymai and Ala Koises. Masechta Seifrim take for granted that also your Yaitse. The Hallel already in the shul. There's another.
You said video. You want to be with the video?
No, I want to move.
Okay. That's the Masechta Seifrim. Masechta Seifrim is willing to say that you have to say it again. There's two mechayv. That's a bius mekutra. They did it in a reim mashma yachtov. That's number one, which is mechayv. But that's the chayim we think kedushas hazman. Because the fact that he puts it together in the list of Shimba Yud Tzaddik, and those are all, if you know the Gemara and Erchim, those are all Hallel Mitoch Kedushas Hazman. That's where the halacha of Issa Malacha, etc., Shabbos, and all the different things we learned yesterday. And that's a davar pasha. These are all meaning Kedushas Hazman. The Hallel of Shavuos is not because of a korban. It's because of Kedushas Hazman. Defining Kedushas Hazman is Issa Malacha, Chilik B'korban Nisayim, and called Moyed. The Chiddush is that what they hold, that what the Leil Pesach is also being Kedushas Hazman. And I pointed out this is the Chayim Mavur in the Meiri, that they could say that it Miboid Yom, which means after Plag, that can only work within Tosefes Yom. It obviously won't work on Libeda Rambam, that there is no Tosefes Deraisa and Yom Tov. The only Tosefes is only on Yom Kippur. There is no Tosefes Shabbos or Yom Tov Mideraisa except for Yom Kippur that Shitas the Rambam. Obviously, that minhag did not work with the Rambam. But the Shittas Rambam is mavur that Bechali doesn't pass on that Masechta Seifrim. He believes that they did not Kedushas Hazman. The Hallel of Alayla, as we pointed out, we didn't Matzis HaKorban, we didn't Hallel Ala Korban, as we learned yesterday in Shir, based on the Mishnah and based on the Rambam Hilchos Korban Pesach, and you obviously saw the Ramban, which says this explicitly. Okay, that's obviously Machlekes of the Bavli and Masechta Seifrim. But there's another Nakuda, which is important. Masechta Seifrim, there's another Mechayiv Taka of the Hallel, and that is to say it afterwards again in the Suda, in the Makkah Suda. As before, and we would have thought that it also need a bracha. Why? Because it's a Hallel defined the demand. The Tzuras HaSuda demands a Hallel. And since it's a Hallel, the Hallel is Mechayiv a bracha, because Hallel told bracha, not because of Birchas HaMitzvahs, because Hallel is told bracha, as we pointed out from the Sefer Eshba. Ella, my dear, there's a Chiddush Gadol in Masechta Seifrim that since already you said Hallel with the Akdama before, we see this is somewhat as a continuance, Afopi, that you finished already now. You said Birchas, you said Yalaluka. Afopi came, you're yaitz to this. It's an instant Chiddush which has to be a Mugdar. I do not have a good Agdor for it. Why you're yaitz with the bracha, with the unless you're going to say a big Chiddush that in Shul you said only bracha Rishona, you didn't say bracha Achrayna. Masechta Seifrim doesn't say we said bracha Achrayna in the Shul. Maybe the Masechta Seifrim believe we said bracha Rishona, we didn't say bracha Achrayna, and then we continued it in the house, and then we said bracha Achrayna. That is a possibility. Okay, that would actually.
How do you know the Hallel and the Seder is Mechayiv bracha? Maybe if you didn't say in Shul, then when you say in the Seder, you're also saying it within Kedushas Zman. So the Kedushas Zman that you're Yotze by the Seder.
Why are you saying it at all? You were Yotze.
No, but I'm saying if you
why are you saying
didn't say it in shul, then when you say it at home, you're saying it within Kedushas Zman.
You don't. Why are you saying it?
No, so you're saying it as part of the Seder. You're saying it as part of the Seder or within the Korban, but that's not Mechayev Bracha. I'm
dying young here. Excuse me, if Kedushas Zman is Mechayev one Hallel, what's the Mechayev of another Hallel B'zman HaSeder? If Kedushas Zman they get all Yomim Tovim, it's a din of Laila and Yom. But it's a din of Laila and Yom. Mechitesi, 2 Hallels in a night. If Shimei, it's like the 2 Hallels in a night.
So you can say it within the Korban. Within the Korban.
I don't know what you're doing. Again, he mentions in the Masechta Sefer, he mentions Laila and Shimei Yitzadik. So it's not within Korban. It's Kedushas Zman. What's the Hallel in the Seder?
So the Hallel in the Seder can be within the Korban.
Mechitesi. Where's this from? Then why doesn't anybody mention it? Mechitesi. Out of the blue. After you finished everything, you did Birchas HaMazon, you didn't have Hallel inside the Korban. Oh, Mechitesi. How do you know this? And if there's totally a different Mechayev, why wouldn't you make a Bracha Rishayna and a Bracha Rishayna? Not Mistaver. If they're totally different Mechayev, it doesn't make sense. Okay. The only tzura is they both have one Mechayev. So whatever Mechayev Kedushas Zman, there must be a reason why that also has to say that is a Mechayev also of doing it in the Seder. Elamai, you didn't finish the Hallel, you continue it again with the second Hallel during the Seder. Why I look her to have shit the teretz is as long as you didn't say a chesima, your Hallel is lingering and continued. Mm-hmm. That's the pshat Masechta Sefer.
Yeah.
One. Now the question is, what's mechayev to continue it in the Seder? Masechta Sefer you take for granted it's one big Hallel, and we didn't fulfill it totally on the rooftops. You had to continue it in the Smokim Suda. Elamai, the din is, what do you do? So therefore, you don't make a bracha to finish it. Look at them the Sefer. He doesn't mention the bracha at the end. He only mentions the bracha in the beginning. Levorach b'tchilasam. That's the lashon. Doesn't mention the bracha of the B'Seif. There it says we didn't do a bracha of the B'Seif. That's not the minig we do here today. We do enochanami. According to that, if you did make a bracha of the B'Seif today, you have a question: why am I not making a bracha b'tchila in the Agada? When we get to the Ramban, we'll talk about it. But this is the chayra, the pashas of the Masechta Sefer. The Rabbi
can Rabbi please explain again? Can Rabbi explain again how he knows that in Masechta Sofrim the Hallel and the Seder is part of the Suda?
I didn't say that. I said again. Let's ask a question. We know the Masechta Sefer said there's one din of Hallel at night. It's called Mishum. It's one din of night. It doesn't say more than that. If Shimei Yitzadik points out that there's the X amount of times night and day you say, it doesn't say there's 2 Hallels. Now, if we know that Kedushas Zman is only mechayev 1 Hallel in a period. So Chiddush of Pesach it's not just during the day, also during the night. Why? If you read the Ramban carefully, because that's Ikar Kedushas Zman, because that is Eisa Geula. Lashon the Ramban there in the very beginning, it's Eisa Geula. It's a unique, special time. That's a Zman which is mechayev Hallel. You look at the Lashon of the Ramban there, just using that Lashon, not in the context of the Ramban. But the idea of Eisa Geula can be a reason for a separate Mechayev Kedushas Zman. And that's more than enough. But what's the second Hallel? Why are you repeating it? That's the question on the table. Why are you repeating it? B, and if it's a separate Hallel with a separate Mechayev, why don't you make a bracha? How are you yotzei with the first one if it's a different Mechayev? No, you didn't. It's what more wise than a hefsek. The answer is not a hefsek because you didn't finish the first mitzvah. The first Hallel has to continue also on the Suda. So you're Mekayim Neroin Mishma Yachda, but you still have to continue it without the Neroin Mishma Yachda. You did the mitzvah and a mufcha, but you haven't finished the mitzvah. But the tzurus mitzvah is Mechayiv in the Suda. So you said the first bracha, you didn't finish, you didn't say the second bracha, you continued the Hallel in the Seder, and then you finished the last bracha. That's the pashtus of the Masechta Sefer. We together? Do you understand me, Elazar? Okay, we're good. Now, Lamaisha, obviously, the Rambam doesn't paskin all that. The Rambam doesn't paskin himself to Sefer, as we pointed out. Now, the Rambam says, basically, if you look carefully, what's the mucker of the Rambam? The mucker of the Rambam is a Tosefta and a Yerushalmi. Tosefta writes, you have it in your sheets. Tosefta the Psachim, very good. Raisa hey. Tosefta writes, you have it in your sheets, I sent it to you. Hallel. Paylech lebeis hakneses. Parsha Rishon, the first part of Hallel. V'holchim v'oichlin v'shoisim. We then have the meal, and obviously they can't say Hallel afterwards because they don't know how to read. The chayzim, they go back to shul. Excuse me, chayzim, and they go back to shul. The goyim is kulei ha with the chazan there, which is makes them with Hallel. V'imi efshir lahem, and if they can't do that, okay, goyim is kulei Hallel. We say all the Hallel before the Suda. So it's before you have to cipher that the minig of basic Knesset is not part because there's the Chatchila din and Rein Mashma Yachto. It's another halacha totally. It's a halacha that basically is only done for the Misha Ein a Baki. There's a din that what you have to go to shul. You have no breira. Well, that's already b'di'evet. You have no breira. Okay. Now does it say? Now, obviously, these people will not be able to say Hallel at home for goodness sakes. They don't know how to read. So obviously, these people that don't know how to read, what do? They're Mekayim mitzvahs Hallel in the shul. Doesn't seem to say that there's a special halacha of repeating it afterwards. You don't know. But L'chaira doesn't mention anywhere such a mechayim. Once we take for granted Bishleim, according to the Masechta Sefer, they're going to shul. They didn't know Mashma Yachta. That's an added dimension. So that's not enough. You have to do it also in the Suda from the Masechta Sefer. But we don't have any indication of that in the Tosefta, and there's no reason. The Tosefta is much earlier, okay? Much, much earlier. The Tosefta, we have no indication at all of Nerein Mishma Yachta. The whole idea of Hallel Beis HaKnesses is nothing more than a minig, Leitzim Yishayin of Baki. And there, obviously, there was no idea at all of saying it back at home. We have no such indication. The only mokum for such a thing is found in the Masechta Sefer. The Ma'aser in Yerushalmi is mefurish like this Tosefta. And this goes to something really very interesting. Look at the Yerushalmi and Shkolim. You have it. I sent you the page. The Yerushalmi Shkolim in the third page. So the Yerushalmi and Psachim, but the Shkolim is everybody has a more Psachim, so you can it's very clear. Yerushalmi and Shkolim, I have it on. I underlined the pieces. And it says as follows. I'll start with a little bit before. What is the shir of a kais? You should know. Reb Avin Omer, Titratun Revia. In case you don't know, now you know. Say Titratun Revia. Okay. First, I want you to read this. Then I'll show you a Bavli and see what a unbelievable a machlekes of Rishonim is basically a machlekes, whether a machriya like Yerushalmi or not. Okay. What does krach echad normally mean? Well, there's two possibilities. Krach means to say an encirclement. Okay. It could be in one cup, drinking one big cup with four cups poured into it, or it could mean without a hefsek. There's nothing between them. This is in Bavli. This is a machlekes Rashi and Rashbam. Rashi believes that bas achas means to say they poured it all into one cup. Taisus and Rashbam argue and they say no, it doesn't mean that. It means that it doesn't mean that because that's obvious that you're not yosha anything with that. You're not 4 cups. That's one big cup. But what does bas achas mean? They drank it one after the other while they hefsek without the agada, without the birchas hamazon, without the Hallel, without the. You just went and you drank 4 cups of wine. So the Gemara says, "Mida Omer of Mana, Omer of Yosi." Hallel, im shamum bebeis hakneses yotza. Hallel, if you heard it in the shul, it's muchach here, you don't have to go to shul. Doesn't mention it's important to go to shul. Im shamam bebeis hakneses, a person which was yaitze. Ooh, those people who have to go to shul. Equal to einam bekiyim. Im shamam bebeis hakneses yatza. Ha'ado amram im shasam ekrach echad yatza. Muchach mikan that shtia bekrach echad is yaitze. What does it say here, Mefurish? Im shamam beis hakneses. You heard it in shul. And well, what are you going to do afterwards? Are you going to go back and say Hallel again? No, you're not going to say Hallel again. So now the fourth cup is going to be right next to the third cup. You said already Hallel and Shul. So the Shasam Mekrach Echad Yotza, you don't need a hefstik between the curses. So for Yerushalmi, that's how Rabbi Sosh Glover, the Pastor Shulchan explains it. You have your Takvin Charitin. Takvin Charitin on the left is a Talmud Muvik of the Gra. Bisrol Shklov, Pasa Shulchan, on Zroim, on Hilchis Chluis Ba'oris, Gdoli Talmidei Agra, the head of the Talmidei Agra in Tzfas and afterwards in Yerushalayim. State the Zokte Takvin Charitin. I don't know, Daf Yomi, do they do Shkolim? I think they do Shkolim, right? Daf Yomi. Not, well, you learn Yerushalmi, you do Shkolim. So here it is. Let me find it for a moment. Oh, you bist
The Krach Echad, no?
You want to, I'm looking for the word. I'm sorry. Just for Krach Echad. V'lei hefsik b'neim el shasrim ritzufim ibein davka hefsik sheyei nikar basam kiven she tiknu al arba guleis eloi yatsa im shomer b'sakles al b'lei pesach. Ein tzarich lemer bebeisai ve'ein davar mafsik ve'ein kais gimel ledalad v'shaysim ritzufim v'yatza. But Mefurish in Yerushalmi, as opposed to the Masech Sefer, which says that there's a din of saying the Hallel to get it home, he says no. So he says no. The whole you don't say it again. Once you said it in the shul, you don't say it to get it home. So we have basically two schools of thought here. The Masech Sefer takes for granted there's a lechatchila we should all say it in the shul. Because the Narain Mashmayachtav, not because Ein Baki. And Masech Sefer said, but you don't end the bracha and you continue that Hallel also. That same Machayev Hallel is also found in the, has to continue because there's a halacha and it has to be ala Seder. Now it can be interesting. It could be because you haven't finished the Hallel and therefore you have to say it again. Why? Whatever it is, you also needed to make a hefsik between the third cup and the fourth cup. Masha'enkin al-liba the liba de Yerushalmi. No, we do not need a hefsek between the third cup and the fourth cup. And there's no reason to say it again once you're a yaitzer in the shul. Two things come out of here. According to Bavli, according to Yerushalmi, the Tosach Seifrim, A, you have to say it again, you have to continue it, I'd like to say, in the Suda, A. B, thus you have a hefsek between the third and the fourth cup. According to Yerushalmi, we do not continue it afterwards in the Suda. Thus, we do not have a hefsek between the third and the fourth cup. Now, one has to put something on the table. Derech HaRambam is always lipstick for Yerushalmi. And I want to show this. I quote it very often. I'd like to finally give you two of the sources for that. You have in front of you a Rambam Hilchos Kriyas Shema, where the Rambam writes, Tzoyas Adam, Tzoyas Klavim, V'chazerim, B'zman sheyesh b'toichen oirais, V'chol Tzoyas Yerecha Ra, G'in Elu, Osher Likus Kriyas Shema Kenegdan, etc. Zokte, Ravid, Oma Avram, Zah Mechaber, Darkei, Lintai, Sliai, Soimech Ala Yerushalmi. The Khan, Loi Somach. He has a kash on the Rambam. You naturally follow Yerushalmi, and here all of a sudden you didn't. Ad Kedei Kach. Now I want to give you another source, which is Shuvas Marik Sirum Kuf, which is even clearer. You have it in your pages. Where the Marik writes, it's underlined. You see, this is Shuvas Marik Sirum Kuf. There's quite a few graws which say this. I can show that to you too if you want, but not now. Okay? But this is important ideas. You look at the underlined pieces, which are very important. Dover Yadua, Shirabenu Moshe Ragil Lifsok Al Pia Yerushalmi Yoter Mikol HaPoskim HaYeduim Etzleinu. Va'afilu b'mokim she'en Talmudenu Muchiach K'divrei Yerushalmi, even it's not Muchach that the Bavli holds like the Yerushalmi. The Bavli leaves something open, and the Yerushalmi says something. We have no siyua that the Bavli holds like the Yerushalmi. L'famim yifsek kamoisay heichesh she'Talmudenu ma'amid Mishnah or Braysa b'shinui dechika v'Yerushalmi mefashu v'pshata pashta tofs l'shita Yerushalmi. Another thing. So he's not like the Yerushalmi, definitely when there's no machlokes in Bavli. And that B, when there's nothing muchach that it argues with the Yerushalmi, knows if it's muchach that it argues with the Yerushalmi, he will pass in Bavli. But in a case where the Bavli is machriya with a shinuya dechika, to explain a Mishnah with an ukimta or something like that, and the Yerushalmi, the Farish Mishnah kipshuta, he's going to machriya la halacha like the Yerushalmi, not like the Bavli. It's a tremendous mafteach to understand a lot of Rambams, and basically save you a lot of time and effort. And believe me, if people would know this earlier, there would be a lot of trees not cut down, and you wouldn't print a lot of things. You know, I always say that's the pshat of Oziranu. I'd say Ayar. When Messiah comes, the trees will be singing because they won't cut them down anymore for paper to print Narishkeit. Okay, they will know so much. You won't have to print things anymore. It would save us a lot of articles. Thus is mefurish in Marik. So derech harav is b'chlal, unless there's a mefurish and probably not this one. Right. The Rav is going to be machriya like the Yerushalmi. So it's a bias of a good that the Rav and Taka doesn't pass in the Masechta Sefer, and according to the Yerushalmi, the Pashta says that you don't repeat it again the Hallel. That's the chayr it would seem to be, unless we can show them a mefurish of Yerushalmi, probably not that way. And this is where the story gets interesting. But Pashas, the Rav and Paskins, them is not the Masechta Sefer. What is this thing? This opens up a certain understanding in a Gemara in Psachim. Now you have it in your sheets. Psachim daf kuf ches amid beis. Where is this thing? Yes, kuf ches amid beis. The Gemara says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th line on the page, starting with the word cherus. Last two words. No, let's do from the beginning. Excuse me. From the third line, Yishason Chai. If you drank raw wine which wasn't blended, and their times wine was really very thick, and therefore it had to be blended with water, 1/3 and 2/3. Shosam Chai, if you drank raw wine, so this rice says Yotza. Shosam Bas Achas, you drank it with Bas Achas. What does Bas Achas mean? So it's Rashi, on top of the page to the left, Bas Achas, Ira Arbosu, you poured 4 of the cups into 1 cup. Ira Arbosu implies that what? You poured the shear of 4 cups into 4 cups. Instinct, what did you do after that? You drank it together. Implies what? That you drank it all together, you drank it at once, or you drank it 4 times, but from the same cup. Lashon of Rashi, it says you poured all 4. There are 4 cups in the cup. Elamai, you didn't make a separate kosh. It was 1 big cup now, which has 4 in it. It's like us, we have these big cups. Can you drink half a cup for 1 kosh and another half of the cup for another kosh? This is the same shayla l'chayr. Don't think the Rashi means you drank 1 cup of wine. That's a bias of bekutcha. There's no way you can think you're yoytza arba koshis in that. Mean to say you didn't have a certain kosh. Josh Bas Achas, he says, Shishasad, so we say, what's the halacha? So the Gemara, Rav Yedei, again, Amar Rava, Yedei Yayin Yotza, Yedei Cheres Lo Yotza, Shosam Bas Achas, Rav Omar, Yedei Yayin Yotza, you're Yotza the mitzvah of, you're Yotza the mitzvah of Yedei Arba Kaisis. Rashi, Yedei Yayin Yotza, you're Yotza the mitzvah, Sheshasa Arba Kaisis. You drank it with Bas Achas. The test is you drank 4 times. Because there are 4 kaisis, you poured 4 kaisis into a cup. Moshe Rashi before him was, what did he do? Ira our boss on the they had 4 cups. You poured it all into 1 cup. So you drank 4 cups. Mashma says that there were already 4, and you poured them into a cup. That means you filled the cup, you poured it in the big one. Another cup, you poured it in the big one. The 3rd cup into the big one. The 4th cup, you put it into the big one. Now you have a Gesundte Rebbe'she cup, one of these kosher yo that you find in the museum. Okay, then you drank them all piecemeal, not at once. So your yotza arba kaisis. When you day cheres layotza, that's not called mitzvah shlema, because cheres means you drank 4 cups of wine, and that's not enough. That's not the way it should be done. Rav Amar, yedei yayin yotza yedei arba kaisis layotza. The opposite is true. Yedei yayin yotza, you were yotza maybe simchas yomtiv, but you weren't yotza yedei arba kaisis layotza. You're not yotza arba kaisis. That's the sheet of Rav. That's only paskin la'alocha. Yedei yayin yotza, very nice. You did simchas yomtiv, but you weren't yotza arba kaisis because we need 4 cups. This is Shitas Rashi. Rashbam. The Bas Achas. But the Rashbam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th line, which is widened out. Irar bosan teich kois echad. Came Pirish Rabbeinu Shlomo. This is what his grandfather writes. You poured 4 cups into 1 big container. We're learning to hear it. This does not seem plausible. The fila hashoisa harbe b'kli echad meravis. Even if you drink a lot in 1 cup, it's only called 1 cup. The high revius ain't in the mute pachas revius. Avotfei revius because he understood that you drank it at once. He understood Rashi that you took the cup and you drank it at once. He said that's not called 4 kaises. It's called 1 cup with a lot of wine. You have to drink 4 cups. Rashi obviously didn't understand that way. And that's not the pshat in Rashi. The pshat in Rashi is no, you drank it at each time in its appropriate place. Nearly the hachi pirusha vasacha shalei al seder mishtasena l'shason ritzufin. L'shason ritzufin. They didn't make a hefsek of Hallel and Haggadah and Birchas Hamazon. You drank 4 cups one after the other. And there the halach is arba kaises lo yotza. Taisvis, bebas achas, nirvez of Taisvis kepirish Rashbam, she'os she'shasen ritzufim v'loi kepirish Rashi, she'ira arbos and teichos echad. The shasan mashma arbe kaises. This is a tamtis of Taisvis. What is Shitas Rashi? Where is he coming from? It's a bisa bekutcha. What the Maskana say Gemara is shasim bebas achas. If we're going to learn the pshat according to the Rashbam, means the shasan not ritzufim. What the halacha here? We paskin like Rav. We paskin like Rav that what did lo yatsa arba kaisis. L'umas of the Yerushalmi is mefurish that the guy gavna yoyitza. Yerushalmi said mefurish krach echad, and there it definitely means without nothing ritzufim. It says yoyitza. Shitas Rashi obviously understands he doesn't want to make a machlekes between Bavli and Yerushalmi. And therefore he explains that no, the Eino Chanami, that's here the Rashbam of Shosam Bli Hefsek. This is not what the Bavli is talking about. And B'kahai Gavna, the din is what your Yaitze, Timavur and the Yerushalmi. And therefore he explains the Bavli differently, that the Bavli is talking in the case of Iran Kulim B'kaisa Echon. And then we pass him that you're not Yaitze B'kaisis. That is Zichet Das Rambam, because the Rambam Kidarka is Noiteka Yerushalmi. Timavur. There's no way that he was, and he's not standing. I look first before Shabavli forget. The text is not before Shabavli forget. And the Bavli is talking Shir and Kulam because Echad. Now, how do I know that? What's talking about? How does the Rambam pass in this halacha? The Rambam pass in this halacha in Hilchos Chametz U'Matzah in Perik Zion. You have it in your sheets. Halacha Tes. You have to blend them. They should be a pleasant drink. That's the din of Shasan Chai. Obviously, the blending depends on the quality of the density of the wine. Well, also depends on your capabilities, what you enjoy. Lo yifches ba'arbasa, in all four you should not have less than the revius yai and chai, but what you do have to take kind of revius does not mean the revius of the wine, which is blended, but the revius of yai and chai, which you have to be very careful today in Antik Zeit, according to that's the Rambam. You have to take not the revius of the blended wine because it has X amount of water to it, but rather a yayin mamish. Well, today most wine doesn't have water in it because the grapes are not what they used to be. I mean, you can actually check that. And they may have other things in there, but it's not wine, so you don't have a problem. Shosa arba kaises elum yayin she'enei mazuk. If you drank wine from these four kaises from yayin, which is not blended, yotze de arba kaises, well yotze de cherus. Your oitza arba kaises, but that's not their cherus. Then he writes a word like this: Shosa arba kaises mizugim bebas achas. They were poured at once. Yotze de cherus v'lo yotze arba kaises. This is the Gemara of Shosa bas achas. He uses the word Shosa arba kaises mizugim. They were poured bebas achas. Here, the word mizugim cannot mean blended, because who cares when you blended it? Well, you can blend it all Erev Yom Tov, the whole barrel falls like here. I say this because Gaber Rabba wrote this, and it's printed, it's beyond redemption. The Zugim here does not mean blended. It comes from the Lashonis of the Mishnayos, Naviptzachim, Mozgulaikas, Rishon, Mozgulaikas, Sheni. You had the waiter constantly be moisek, pouring the wine for the people. So what happens, they poured the wine bebas achas. Now what does that mean? It doesn't say anywhere that they drank it together, unless you take for granted that the mezugim mean they were all poured in one cup. It's going to be very hard to explain mezugim bas achas means to say, and they drank it at once. If Adrabah, the Losh is Shosa Arba Kaisis, mezugim bas achas. Maybe he drank it piece after piece. So what does it mean? It means because they were all poured in one cup. The Maisa, the Magid Mishnah says, Sham Shosam Basachis Idei Yayin Yotza. This is the second wide line of the Magid Mishnah. Idei Pirish Afal Pisha Shosa Arba Kaisus Chalukim Kivish Lo Shosan Ala Seder Lo Yotza. Not sure how he sees that in the Lashon of the Rambam. Except for that, to say that halacha that Shosan Shaloya Seder Lo Yotza would be saying that the Rambam passes Keneged Yerushalmi. And Derech Harav Azel Lintas Yerushalmi, it's not mistavet. The Rambam passes this, interprets the Bavli this way, and passes the Bavli against the Yerushalmi, when you can simply interpret the Bavli differently. Look at
their interpretation. Maybe he thinks that's not a possible interpretation of the Bavli.
Well, look at further. That's I'm going by to. Relax, please. Look at the Rabbeinu Menayach. He's not sure. Rabbeinu Menayach writes, which is Rashi, Inami, there's two possibilities of interpretation. He's not sure. Now, between you and me, if I have a possibility of understanding that the Bavli is not arguing with the Yerushalmi and interpreting it like the first Pirush of Rabbeinu Menayach and Rama, which is the Staber and the Losha, like Rashi, so it's above a Pashid. I would read Rambam like Rashi. And the reason they relearned the Bavli that way, because he doesn't want to say this. I'm not like his Bavli Yerushalmi, because Dr. Luma Yerushalmi. There's nothing first in the Bavli. The question is, how do I interpret a Bavli? So the Achrot, to learn since it's a Mefurish Yerushalmi, the Bas Achas doesn't need to the Yoytze without a hefsek. Therefore, it's mistaber to understand the Pshat and the Bavli like Rashi and not like the Rashbam. But yet, I think this is the mucker of Rashi, not to learn like the Rashbam because of this. Rashi doesn't have a problem with Psaki. We don't know that Rashi passed into Yerushalmi. But Lafusha Pluk V'Loi Mafshinon. But according to Rambam, which is darkly Livseke Yerushalmi, unless it's Mefurish and Bavli for Ket, Adrabah, it's Mustafa that's not Mefurish and Bavli, and therefore we're going to pass, and is a Mefurish Yerushalmi. So there's no reason to Taiche Bavli to make it a Taiche Bavli be Chodik and Mefurish Yerushalmi. We're going to Taiche the Bavli like Shittas Rashi, and that's the Lashon. That's what he doesn't say anywhere. Which says Shosa Arba Kaises Mezugim B'Vasachas. That's what it doesn't say with Shtia B'Vasachas. Yes, he drank me. This is Shittas Rashi. Granted. Yotzi de Ches or Yotzi de Arba Kaisis, because there's a halacha. Either you're going to learn it means Shtir of Asai, doesn't mean no. What happens was there's that before Kaisis versus 1 Kaisis, 4 Shtirs. It's versus, it's good. This is all called drinking from 1 cup, as the Maggid Mishnah, as the Rishonim point out. It's obviously that way. That's mistaber. That's the chiddush of the thing. He drank 4 Shtirs. It was a chetchila 4 Kaisis into a cup. You're not yotza arba kaisis because you did arba kaisis. That I accept. That's what we say the halacha is lo yotzi de arba kaisis. Makes sense. So this is l'chayr shittas Rashi. Now that we have that, so it's got before that that's a Rambam is not the Masechta Seifrim, rather it's the din of the Yerushalmi. Kuntais Lefi said that what? That there's no problem of not saying the Hallel down there, downstairs in the Suda. So l'chayra, you finished it upstairs. Now you finished upstairs. So where did you say exactly where did you say the bracha layai? Where did you say the bracha layai? Now in Yerushalmi, it's before that what? Let's look at the Yerushalmi again. What does the Yerushalmi say? The Yerushalmi says. You don't have to say it again at home. Now the shaila is, now the makar, the Rambam I understand is the Yerushalmi. When the Rambam says there's no problem saying the Hallel outside anywhere you want, the makar is the Yerushalmi because you're yaitze. Shaila is the chayra, and you don't. What about the shaila of the Ravid? But don't you need it ala kais? So he's going to say you said it ala kais. And you took the wine with you wherever you went, and you said the bracha up on the rooftops. That's the chayra of the pshat. And this is where the Ravid Ag says there's no way you can say the Hallel on the roof, that you can say the bracha on the rooftops. That's not part of the Tzuras Asud of Arba Kaisis. Where does the Rambam argue in this point? That's the shaila on the table. So to understand the Agdora of where the Rambam argues on this point, we have to go back to that Gemara in Psachim Daf Kuf Yud Zayin Amid Beis. A minute. Yeah, it's also in your pages. The Gemara says as follows again. As we explained, he had no problem with the other 3 cups. Because Pasha, they were birchas ashir, they were kosher bracha. But l'chayre, he understood that birchas hamazon is not a shir, and that's why the Bavli is mistapik the Gemara in brachas. So then why did they make this, what's the getter of this bracha? So he understood that the mechayev is the shir. That one is chazal. That the getter is a kosher bracha and the mechayev is a shir. Let's understand carefully. He doesn't think that shir is a mechayev. Excuse me, we'll be exact. It was clear to him that the takon is chazal v'arba kosher. But he understood that the agdora is kosher bracha equals a shira alayai. His problem was, so that's the case. So how do you maintain the idea of kosher bracha by birchas hamazon? Birchas hamazon is not shira. It's a din of amira, kriya, call it what you want, not shira. And if there is a kiyum din of kosher bracha, al kocha that birchas hamazon is also shira. But mainly we have a raya that birchas hamazon is mechayev kosher bracha. But the din of shira alayai. Look, the Gemara, he understands the chayre, it's not. What's the mechayev? What did Rava answer him? Rava answered him, there's no din of kosher bracha. It's halacha 4 cups derech cheres. Kol chad v'chad naved bei mitzvah. What does Rashbam say on that? Dr. Rashbam, arbe kasa, etc. Because chad v'chad never by mitzvah kleimar ra'ui she'asa by mitzvah. It's not, there's no agdor of kosher bracha. It's the idea of being machshiv, the kos, by putting a mitzvah on it. And I will explain myself. The idea of kosher bracha is the opposite. It's a loch of ein oimrim shira ela ala yayin. Since you're saying shira, so Rabbanu when talking, you should say it al yayin. Derech Agav, the Ravon writes Mefurish and also Rashi and Erev and Daf Pei that even the bracha of Bayer Priyagofen is not a birchas hanenin. It's part of the shira al yayin. It's also Mefurish and Rashbam and Perek Psachim that the kiddush you make every morning and every Shabbos morning, which you really don't have to say anything more than Bayer Priyagofen, as I am noyek, is because Bayer Priyagofen is a shvach and the fact that God thinks we have grapes which make us happy. It's called shira al yayin. There's no, these psukim that people add, hey, you can also read the Kriyas Hayam. I suggest they read, Parshas HaToichacha. They can do whatever they want. I just say, good Shabbos. Okay? Just to remind people, hello, it's Shabbos here. Okay? Not the Iker I did. Because I'm married, I also say Zachis here, Shabbos the Katra. But really, you don't even have to say that. Just say hello, just say Ber Priyagofen. You want to make sure everyone knows what you're doing, say good Shabbos. Anyway, this is the get that the Rashbam and Psachim have a Psachim, it's a Bichla Shir. Shir alayayim by saying Ber Priyagofen. The Ravon is mashma that way too. It's a locha of Birchas Hashir. Not dafke din of Birchas Hanen. He wants you to know. Adrabi, he writes, okay, he says the only reason we have to drink, he says, is because people, you're going to say the bracha, and then you're not going to drink. People will think they're Amaratzim. They think it's Birchas Hanenin, and you're going to be. They think you're doing a bracha levatala. That's why we drink. But Lamais, you don't have to drink. That's what he holds. Interesting shittas are Rabban. Lamais are b'choishish from Amaratzim, which most people are, and they think it's a Birchas Hanenin. So he says, well, it isn't. But who knows? You and me and my friends. So obviously, we're afraid that other people will go walk saying that the rabbi is a sinner. That's a chil Hashem. Therefore, the Ravan says, so drink from the kosher bracha. That's his shita. Other Rishonim argue, they say shtiyas hamizbeach, as I explained. And those are goinim, l'maisa, that say shtiyas hamizbeach. But that shita's a Ravan, that the bracha is not even a birchas hanani, it's birchas hashir. I want to put this on the table. We should understand it. So the agenda of kosher bracha is basically, what are you doing? You're saying a shira, and shira is al yayin. That's the agenda of the Allah. So obviously that's mechayev that the shira should be al hayayim. Don't sing and then go drink wine somewhere else 20 minutes later. That's not shira al hayayim. That's a davar pasha. So obviously the Ravid understood that's the davar pasha. And obviously that's what the Ravid understood in the Rambam, that Eino Chinami, it's a halacha that what? That you said Shira alayayin. So obviously you went there somewhere and you made the kosher bracha there, you drank it there on the rooftop. So he has the question, what about Makom Suda? Because he understood the Agdor of Rava is saying, not like the Rashbam, they say, didn't have kosher bracha. But not the Birchas HaMazon is mechayev the yayin. No. The mechayev of the yayin is arba kaisis. We decided to make it into a kosher bracha. That's accepted. No one says that Birchas HaMazon mechayev of the yayin, but we decided to do a mitzvah to make it into a kosher bracha. That's how he understood Rava's teretz to Reb Chanan, and therefore he understood in the Rambam that obviously he went and he made the bracha somewhere else. He had the question, how can you make the bracha somewhere else? You have to make it somewhere else. The halal has to be with the wine. But what are you going to do afterwards with the arba kaisis? It's not arba kaisis. The Rambam didn't learn that way, obviously, because what's the Rashbam's understanding of Rava's teretz? He doesn't say it's a kosher bracha. First, he doesn't say that. He says, Roi sheyasa by mitzvah. What does that mean? It's not a din that the bracha should be done ala yayin, it's the opposite. The shtiyas al yayin should be chashuv to do a mitzvah on it. It's not, you have to look at what is the siba and what's the teitzah. The Kaisha Bracha means it starts with you're saying a bracha, Shir Takadosh Baruch Hu. The form of saying a Shir Takadosh Baruch Hu is by putting it next to wine. Here it's the opposite. The mitzvah is to drink 4 cups. Midrabbanan, we decide to make these 4 cups enhanced by doing a mitzvah around them, with them, because of them. Bishvila, the lashon is Roy Shiasa by mitzvah. Lashon of the Gemara was take the Rabban David Kol Chadvad Navid by mitzvah. So the Rashbam, he writes it's not a Kaisha Bracha, it's only Roy Shiasa boy mitzvah. Before the Agdor is not Kaisha Bracha. What does it mean? It means to say we want to enhance the cups by somehow a mitzvah should be done around it, because of it, whatever you want to call it. Here the Rambam believes if that's the case, there's no reason to say that the cup has to be drunk at the same place of the mitzvah. It's enough to say if Allah says if naniach we're going to accept the right mitzvah, I need arba kaises and suras l'suda, which is legitimate. We explained the why on that. So the chayr, you're going to have to come back and drink the 4th cup in the Suda. Granted. Rabbi doesn't mention anywhere that you drank the cup up on the rooftops. Let's be honest. He only talks about the Hallel. He doesn't say anywhere that you say the Hallel again. He passes into Yerushalmi. The Teretz says you don't need that. As long as you have to come back. Because Suras Suda, to finish that, you have to say that Kaish of Bracha. You have to say that Kaish of Arba Kaishas. So the thing is, you know what? The Makom Asud wasn't misbattled because you went somewhere else to say Allah. Just like the Allah is, the Shini Makom is not, it doesn't do anything if you left someone there because the Sud is still continuing. If halacha demands for you to return to drink that cup because it has to be mitzvah to the Suda, so the Makom Asud is not Nekah. So remember, you go back and you drink that wine. It's not Kaisha Bracha. No one ever said there's a din of Kaisha Bracha. That's what Rav Chanan thought. It's not a din of Kaisha Bracha. We decided to do mitzvahs around that cup. So we connected somehow in a way of the cup on the Hallel on the rooftop, which therefore forces me to go down and drink wine on the shulchan. The fact that there's no hefsek in the Suras Suda is enough to be miyachas the Hallel to that cup. That will not work for Kaisha Bracha, but it has to be Shira Ala Yayin. There's no din of Shira Ala Yayin here. It's there Allah to be machshiv the cup sheyasa by mitzvah, or call it differently according to the Rambam. Rambam is not mechuyev to the lashon of the Rambam. The Agdor is it's a mitzvah which is around the cup, and since this is not a hefsek because the Shini Makom hasn't changed it because you're mechuyev to come back, and the Ravid also agrees. Mamela, it's enough. The Nekudas HaMachlekes, others you want to look at this carefully. There's no Machlekes around the Ravid as far as what happened. They both agree you went back to drink the cup. Went back to drink the cup, and you did not say Hallel again. Yerushalmi. And there is no problem of hefsek. Very nice. There's only one question on the table. The Rambam believes that that's not a problem, and that's called Hallel al Hakais. Because it's not a din of Kaisha Bracha of Shira al Yayin. It's halacha, and we do Hallel around the cup. We're mitzarefet to the cup. How is it mitzarefet to the cup? Because it's called one makkah. There's not a kirs or shulchan. Because you have to come back. Why? Because it's for the Ravid, Makom Suda. How did the Ravid understand? The Ravid understood B'das HaRambam that he drank the cup up there on the rooftop because he understands the Pshat and Rabba is not like the Rashbam. It's a Kaisha Bracha. Kaisha Bracha is a chiyuv of Shira Alayai that definitely demands to say it there. That's the Nekudas HaMachlekes. The Nekudas HaMachlekes of the Rambam and the Ravid is not in Hilchas Hallel. It's not in all these things which I was going to say yesterday, thank God I didn't. The Nekudas HaMachlekes of Rambam and Ravid is what the getter of the teretz of Rava and Kuf Yitzayin Amar Beis. Is the Maskana they say din of Kaisha Bracha, or just a kais of Cherus and Dal Kaises? Shiroi, Lasis, Olav, Beginoi, Misfivai, whatever Abdur you want, mitzvah. Nothing to do with the din of Shira al Hayai. I rest my case. We will continue weiter mitzvah after Yom Tov, I guess. I want to continue weiter in Hallel, and then we'll do one more sugya. Send you the Marmakaimis. Have a great one.